Hey everybody, it's Piranha Z06 coming to you from my man cave, which is where pretty much anyone in central Ohio in January spends most of their time. And I realized it's been a couple of years since I've made a video regarding my rig. So I figured I would make one to let you know about the changes I've made since then. So let's get right to it and I'll show you the rig so you can look at it instead of my beautiful face. Okay, so here's a view of the full system. It's quite the monster, as you can imagine, so you'll need plenty of room for this thing. And I'm sure your wife will love it as much as mine does. But hey, we don't have kids and this is my man cave, so anything goes, right? Anyway, I've got the sound on just so you can get a look at sound and hear the full experience if I'm using the 5.1 surround. It's obviously not as loud on here as it is when I'm sitting and turn it up a little more. But just to give you kind of a little glimpse of what it's like with the sound on. So the point of this video is to kind of update some of the things I've added recently. And if you've watched the other two videos, you will see the basic review of the Obutto and my PC and some of the basic features that I had to begin with. And I haven't added a lot, but a few things, and I get about 4 hits a day on my last videos, so I figured I should at least update it with some new features that I've added so that I can possibly help other people with things they want to add to theirs as well. So I'm just going to kind of go through some of the upgrades that I've done. First of all, on the main performance PC, I've made it water cooled, and I have upgraded the graphics card to a 970. I've added 8 gigabytes of RAM and upgraded to Windows 10. Otherwise, everything else is the same and it still functions flawlessly. Love it. I think I did add an additional fan maybe as well, and I also added a little vent so that the fan wasn't blowing right on my calf when I was driving. It was just kind of irritating blowing my hairs on my legs. So put a little Kydex vent so that it vents it toward the wall instead of my legs. So that's the main thing, first of all. Most everything else is the same that you can see, other than the first thing you will probably notice is the steering wheel. I've upgraded to the Formula 1 steering wheel, and I still have my other two basic steering wheels. The one on the left is the one that came with the wheel, and I did use the Ferrari GTE Challenge wheel for a while, and you can see my phone holder there when I was using that for my putting the dashboard on my phone, which I don't do anymore because one, that won't fit on the Formula 1 wheel, and two, I've just gotten used to not having a dashboard right there on my phone anymore. I'm kind of using it more like a simulator, and that works out good too. I'll probably never use the wheel on the left because it doesn't have paddles, and I removed the paddles from my wheel, the base anyway, as you can see. So the steering wheels that I use are the Formula 1 and the Ferrari GT Challenge, and they have paddles on them. The next thing you'll probably notice is the monitor on the left, and I added another mount just like the one on the right, but I connected it directly to the chassis using some U-bolts, and a little 7-inch HDMI monitor that was very cheap. And again, I'll list all of my products that I have on a PDF and link them down below so that you can see exactly where I bought things, how much I paid for them, discounts I got on them, things like that. So that's where I put my track map, as you can see. And then also I have a 5th monitor, which I use, try to show you here, for telemetry and my OBS streaming. I definitely have enjoyed streaming occasionally. I'm not a hardcore streamer with lots of people. I think I have 70 followers, so I'll put a link down below to my Twitch channel. If you want to follow me, feel free. But the telemetry that you see up there and the track map down below are one of my newest additions. It's called Joel Real Timing, JRT for short, and it is very customizable and useful. And as you can see, it even works with replays. This is a replay of a race I did a long time ago, and it is updating just like it was a live race. Every one of the columns are customizable however you want them, and it's just great information to be able to look up and see at a glance. So that's a quick review of all the new stuff. I also added the load cell mod from Ricmotech to the brake pedal, as I mentioned that I might do in my last video. I did it, and it has made things a lot better. I'll give you another look around behind. One last thing that I have done is I have secured my 3 triple monitor stand to the wall and added some, I don't know exactly what they're called, but they twist to adjust. And so that I can keep my monitor stand level, straight, and I can extend it even more than before. If you've seen my last video, that arm was bent a little. Now it is extended all of the way, so I can have the monitors as close as possible. So in order to get my fifth monitor, as you can see here, I have this big long pole, and that is not an Obutto product. That is a homemade monitor stand, and part of it is underneath the wires there. But it's basically a plate with a flange, a long pipe, a cap, an articulating arm, and some used dumbbell weights that I sanded and painted and laid on top to keep it from tipping over, because I have the flange mounted in the corner so that I can get it as close as possible to my rig so that I can see it when I'm racing. So I'll put some pictures while I'm talking about this also in the video so that you can kind of see some of the progress of how I made that. Basically, you just put it all together and paint it, and it works very nice and looks very nice. I think I've also maybe upgraded I replaced all the zip ties with red fabric Velcro straps just to kind of give it a little better look. So pretty much everything is black and red as much as possible. There's a few green LED lights or something like that, but all the way down to my racing shoes, which again you will need if you're using metal pedals like this setup has, because your feet will get blistered. I think that's all of the changes for now. Hold on one second and I'll check my paperwork and see if there's anything else that has been upgraded to let you know about. So a couple of more changes I did realize I needed to tell you about was one, and you may have seen this before when I was back here, is that bar that connects the monitors. This bar right here. So that is a bar that I bought. It's one piece. It's bent at the angles where the two side monitors are and then mounted through the VESA plates to the monitors. And that's just to hold the monitors in place better. Probably one of the complaints that you've seen, like I have, is that the articulating triple monitor stand arms can move and shift a little bit. They're a little, I don't know, they're just fickle a little bit to keep them in place, which makes them very versatile if you're doing other things. But for a racing rig where I want to never change or never move, was quite to an OCD person, it was quite the problem. So I did that to keep them firmly in place. A couple of other things that I forgot to mention are the cameras that I've added, since, like I mentioned before, I am streaming now, so there's a camera there that captures my face and arms while I'm racing. And then you can't quite see it, but there is a camera down below and also an LED light so that the camera will pick up my feet when I'm racing. So I think I mentioned it before, but I'll add a link down below to my Twitch channel if you want to follow me and watch me race live against people. I actually raced against Tony Stewart the other day. He is into iRacing now, apparently. So, and I will also add links down below to all of the stuff that I have linked before, and anything new, JRT. Again, I'll have a link to the PDF of all of my products down to the nuts and bolts, pricing, everything, including what I've spent on iRacing, which is quite embarrassing, but hey, I don't play golf, so it's probably less than people who play golf every weekend. So this is my hobby. Anyway, this is Piranha Z06, and feel free to ask me any questions through the comments below or the email that I will link to. And again, I'll update you if I make any future changes. Hope this helps everybody out there. Thanks and goodbye. Okay, so I didn't have as many pictures as I thought I did of the fifth monitor stand build. One I did find of the weights that I bought at my local used sporting goods store, and one that I was doing proof of concept in my garage with just the pole and some weight on the end. So there you go.